Hey everybody, I'm going to do a quick up-to-date review of the Muse Hobby Laser. This is just a simple setup when I have it upstairs. There's the air chiller, the air compressor, the exhaust fan, and of course the Muse itself. My computer is right on the other side, so here I'm going to start it up for you. It's actually not that loud when you first start it up because the fan and the air compressor don't kick on until you actually start a job. The only thing that will come on will be the water chiller. So here's the main screen. It's booting up. You turn on the water chiller. It makes that beeping noise, which is annoying. But after about 4 beeps, it cuts off and it gives you a reading of the temperature of the water that's inside of it. Right now the machine is booting up, and this is the first screen that you'll always get, that danger fire hazard screen. And when it's available, you can hit the agree button, and then it'll continue to cycle through the startup process. And you can see the laser in the background moving to position itself. There's the startup screen, and on the bottom right corner, once it connects to your Wi-Fi, you'll see the IP address. Now inside the laser, you can see the camera that I just went past, the little black piece that's hanging down, that's the camera. Has plenty of LED lights in on both sides, and of course a reflective surface so that you can actually see the bed when it's actually photographing. It's actually put together very well, considering that it is, just a hobby laser. But they took the time to put it together in a way that's, functioning, which is fantastic. So far, I haven't had any real issues with it, and I've been seeing a lot of the guys complain about not being able to connect to the internet, not being able to get the laser aligned. Somebody reported that when they got there, the lenses weren't calibrated properly, and he's just been having a hard time trying to get that up and going. But I was one of the fortunate ones that when I received mine, it was tested and it seems to work fine. So at this point right now, what I'm going to do is do a quick walkthrough basically and let you guys see what's going on the screen itself. Now you see in that bottom right corner, you have the white lettering and the numbers. That's where my IP address shows up. It tells you that it found my internet, my Wi-Fi. And pretty much it's pretty easy. There's the network. It shows my network with a check mark that's connected, and it shows the IP address for the Muse. Now the other thing I wanted to let guys know is that sometimes when you go to power up and your Muse connects to the internet, the IP address for me so far has changed 3 times. I would go sit at my computer and turn and open up Google Chrome, and I would get a blank screen. It couldn't find it. Then I would go back and see that the IP address changed. Once I changed the IP address on the browser, then it worked fine. If you were looking at the screen, you would have saw that some of those were my previous jobs. What's great is whatever you do on Retina Engrave, you can just go in under the folder and save it under a name. So whenever you want to go back to an old job, it literally just saves it in the history. And if you name it, you can easily scroll through your history and find it, because it stores it in the browser and it remembers. Even on the Muse, you just saw me hit the button, it brings it up. Now the camera feature, if you turn the camera feature on and off, the bed will go black, and then when the lights come back on, it's getting ready to photograph whatever's in the bed. So it takes these 9 photographs and it pieces them together. It's not the clearest photo, and I think if you play around with positioning the piece so that your piece is in one of the 9 actual shots, you probably will have an easier time, and there's the IP address, an easier time at aligning your image when you get to that point. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to open up Google Chrome. I have my IP address for Retina Engrave and my favorites. It will automatically open once it recognizes the IP address that you plug in. And because I'm going to be working with a certain piece of material, of course I wanted to take an image. So once it's aligned, you click OK for it to take the 9 photographs of the bed. And at this point, then it'll load these 9 photographs so that you can align your artwork on top of the image, which makes it absolutely perfect. It's very easy to do instead of trying to eyeball it and guess the size and location by looking in the bed. You can't drag and drop anything except PDFs right now. Full Spectrum is working on fixing that. I spoke with them earlier in the week and they told me they should have a new update for the Retina Engrave. So here's the piece of plexiglass that I'm working with. I'm working with this vector, this cutout for the image right now. I'm sizing it using the ruler that goes all around the edge of the actual screen. I need it to be 2 3/4 so that it'll fit into a slot at the bottom, at the base. And here is the actual the raster, the image that I want done. So I play around with it and I size it to fit inside of the cut line the way that I need it. And I had to do this in Inkscape and Photoshop to get the background the way I want it. And here you can choose, which you want to work first. You want the vector to cut first, or you want the raster to etch out the piece first. You click on the play button and it sends the work straight to the Muse, and it's pretty quick because everything's on the Wi-Fi, and it cuts like butter. I guess because it's brand new. It's a 45-watt tube, so I'm cutting out, and then it goes straight to the raster, and then it's gonna etch out that design for me so that I can display and use this piece. So I'm gonna speed this up. This piece is about 3 inches at its widest point and about 7 inches long, and it took about 6.5 minutes for it to do the entire job from cutting to raster. I just sped it up so you guys wouldn't have to sit there and be bored watching this thing do the whole entire thing. And of course on Plexi it's a little cloudy, so you wipe it, clean it up. But here's the outline, and I had to go back in and cut it again with the actual image, because when I did the image on the Plexi, I forgot to flip it. And when you're working with Plexi, if you want a crisp image, you want to flip the image, not because the top will be a little cloudy. So here's the finished product. It slid right into the lamp. The cut was perfect. The 2 3/4 worked absolutely perfectly, and it fit right in the slot. So I'm going to be offering this to a couple of friends who DJ also. I'm sure they'll love to have one of these sitting on the DJ booth. But so far the Muse seems to be working fine, aside from not being able to drag and drop what I need and have to do the extra work. But I'll keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching.